Dr. Ryan Godfrey here, joined by Dr. Grant Bishop, and we wanted to take you guys through a little barbell back squat clinic today. We'll talk about optimal setup in your back squat, and then we'll talk about common compensations we may see that could ultimately lead to injury. So first things first, optimal setup. Dr. Grant's going to get up under the bar here. And for proper elbow positioning and lat engagement, a lot of times people fly the elbows back. We want to make sure those elbows are nice and in line with your torso, and then to create tension in the lats, he's going to pull or break that bar across his low back, or across his upper back to keep the lower back supported. And then from there, unracking the bar, two-step drop. We're going to focus on keeping glutes engaged, keeping those ribs engaged as well. Dr. Grant's going to take a deep belly breath into that and expand. Then he's going to slowly pull into bottom position, optimally using your hamstrings to get there. And when we've reached a 90-degree joint angle with the hip and knee, the work is done. He's going to power out of that bottom position using those quadriceps and keeping glutes engaged. So go ahead, we'll re-rack that bar. Give Dr. Grant a little rest here. That's going to be your optimal setup. And now to kind of break things out and talk about common faults that we see that may lead to injury. One of the biggest things we see leading to low back and knee issues is when he goes to unwrap that bar. This is commonly a setup problem. You'll see from that side view. Dr. Grant unwraps, and he's going to overextend low back position. That can cause a lot of tension into the lumbar spine, and as he descends, go ahead and descend there, Dr. Grant, you can see he doesn't get as much depth here. That bar path is going to drift forward, so now he has to put a lot of emphasis on using his quadriceps to get out of the hole. This can lead to knee pain as well with the quadriceps being overused. One of the other common faults we see is that when he goes to the bottom, he's going to lose low back tension. We call this a butt wink. Again, see a lot of low back issues here, potentially some hip pain as well. And it really is just not a powerful position when we lose tension in the bottom. Go ahead and re-rack there, Dr. Grant. These are some of the most common faults we see. And what is one of the other big things that we see with the squat?
Some big things that we see in addition to poor mechanics or poor setup or descent, ascent problems is shifting or asymmetries between left and right. If you have a dominant leg, a dominant side, or if you're in the squat and you have this little shift over to the side as you're coming up or as you're even going down, we're talking about a unilateral or single-sided weakness that's going to contribute to all kinds of injuries that could happen from that. And that could be the result of loading too much too quickly and not strength training unilaterally or single leg. So even just doing simple drills like this, where we're working on lateral hip stability on both sides, it's going to make you much more resilient and able to perform better with multi-joint movement of like the barbell back squat. And so you can dial in the mechanics, you can dial in the single leg strength and combine it all into one thing, but also don't progress your volume too fast, because that's where a lot of other injuries will come into play. When you're progressing too fast, doing too much at once, doing 5x15 of 225 or something ridiculous with a lot of other exercises involved as well, you want to be careful how much load you're putting onto the system. This is definitely a lift that requires a lot of energy, a lot of neurological output from the central nervous system. And so we want to make sure that we're not doing too much too soon and making sure that you're controlling the weight as you move it, and not just move from point A to point B, but be in control.